Today, I'm going to give you 3 simple ways that you can get the ideas that are on the inside of you out into this world as a content creator. So stay with me. 3 simple ways to get that content out. Let's go. Hi, welcome to the All Small Productivity Podcast. I'm Amber, and I am so excited that you are here today because we are going to go all small for big productivity. And I have the fabulous Logan Rodman here. I have the fabulous the Logan Rodman here. And Logan is amazing, and she does so much. She is a content creator herself, but also a social media guru. She is fabulous with all the things. So she is here with me, helping me with all social media things and all the fun stuff. So I'm so glad you're here.
Thanks, Amber. I'm excited to be here.
It's going to be fun.
So
we're talking about all small productivity and my all small approach to big productivity. I call it big productivity balanced, intentional, go-getting productivity. So you want to be able to have that balance. I help content creators, whether they are writers, whether they're authors, published authors, or writers, whether they are creating content for YouTube, creating content as a blogger, creating content as an artist, making film, making music, all the things, ministry, teaching, whatever it is. If you're creating content, I want to encourage you that it doesn't have to be complicated to create content, to get it out into the world. And I know you may have so many ideas rolling around, and it's hard sometimes to be able to nail down the ideas that you want to share, but also to be able to get it out of yourself and start getting that content out to the people that you know that it could bless and help, while at the same time balancing your work, your family, and your faith. So if you are here for that reason, you're in the best place to be, because I want to encourage you today. I want you to be inspired. I want you to be encouraged, but I also want to inform you and to be able to give you some practical tips, practical ways that you can be able to go all small for big productivity. And a little bit of background about the podcast. Logan and I were just talking about this, but the podcast started back during COVID, when everybody was feeling frozen. I was feeling like frozen, like I've got all these ideas and thoughts, but it felt like the world was falling apart. So I created the Be Encouraged Today podcast and started interviewing different entrepreneurs and content creators that wanted to be able to share how were they fulfilling the plans that God had for their life, so that they could encourage other people to do so. And then that turned into me sharing a lot of different tips about how to be able to be creative, time management focused tips, and balance with life and family and faith. And it turned in and transformed into the All Small Productivity Podcast. So on audio, on all the different platforms, you can look up All Small Productivity Podcast, and you can listen to 67 episodes of that content. But this is the very first video episode, and I'm so excited to be sharing this with all of you. This is something that we are launching out into. My husband just recently started a video production company. We are in ministry full-time for 12 years. He worked at the church for 10 years. But we've been serving there for 15 years.
Wow.
So yeah. And we still serve there and we love it. But he had on his heart to be able to step away and start a video production company where he helps content creators be able to share their family-friendly messages out to the world as well. And so this is being brought to you by Dad Chavis Productions. Which is really fun too. So we're just going to jump in.
Chad.
Yeah, thanks, Chad. We love it. So we are going to jump in to all the things. So I wanted just to share with you first that I'm going to share today about the all small approach to big productivity. What does it mean to go all small? What is that about, specifically when it comes to writing and producing your content? But the first things first is helping you plan out your week so that you can be able to apply all the things that I'm going to share today. So I want you to go to amberndavis.com. That's amberndavis.com and get my free teaching on the best way to plan your week, along with a checklist and guide that's going to help you do that. So go to amberndavis.com and get that free teaching. You could get it right now, or you could wait until after you watch this, but get it sometime. And we're gonna jump in. So Logan is amazing, and she is going to help me go through some stuff. We're gonna do some fun things today, but the first thing when I talk about all small, and Logan is so encouraging because she's been applying the all small approach with what she does with her small kids, and as a wife, and as just an amazing woman in work and all ministry and all the things she does. But as far as the all small approach when it comes to content creation and producing your content, that I just like simple things, right?
Yes. We all need simple.
Yes. I just want simple approaches. There's too many, complicated things out there. We can make this really simple. And the first things first is all. So to make it simple, it's just an acronym for first asking the right questions. So before you start jumping into creating content, whatever that content is going to be, it's really important that you ask the right questions. And I want to get into what questions you should be asking yourself when it comes to creating that content, or right before you start creating that content. But just for fun, we're going to ask some fun questions here. So Logan and I were talking about this before, but we're just going to ask each other some fun questions so that we can just have fun and chit chat for a few minutes about some fun questions before we jump into more teaching.
Yeah. Well, I think sometimes the best place to start is to be silly.
Right.
And that's how you get into productivity, is getting all the silliness out. So
I love it.
We'll start there. Yeah.
Yes.
So Amber, what's the most beautiful place you've been?
Most beautiful place I've ever been. Oh my goodness. I traveled a lot.
Yeah.
So when I did training and development for 3 different companies, I traveled. For 3 years, I just traveled. I didn't have a home or a car or anything. I just traveled. So I got to see a lot of pretty places. My favorite pretty place is my backyard.
Oh, that's so great.
I mean, I'm not even joking. Like, we built a fire pit patio, with all. And I'm laughing because I'm looking because I want to be able to talk to the people.
Yeah.
But I'm looking at you, so I'm just gonna keep looking at you.
Okay, that works.
So, it's in our backyard. So we have like a circular patio that we created out of brick.
Yeah.
And with our fire pit, and we go out there and we hang out. So that's, to me, that is the most beautiful place because it's my place of refreshment.
Yeah.
I really love it. So traveling and stuff, I've gotten to see some places, but to me, that's my most beautiful place.
Oh yeah, that's good. That's so good.
And I know that sounds cheesy, but it really is.
I like it though.
It really is. And we're drinking hot tea too.
Need tea.
Yeah.
Tea is necessity.
So you can put in the comments below if you are a tea drinker or a coffee drinker. I'm a tea drinker.
Oh, I'm mostly coffee drinker for sure, but I like tea.
Yes.
I do love coffee.
So yeah.
But I have to limit coffee.
Right. I don't like coffee at all.
At all.
No. I used to drink coffee when I was in college and high school.
Yes.
But it wasn't, it was crazy. I drank coffee. I was like, okay.
I didn't drink coffee until I was 30.
Oh, yeah.
I've only been drinking coffee for a few years.
No, I would ride the bus with my Franklin Covey planner and plan out my day.
Wow. We are totally different people, Amber. But that's why I get to learn from you.
I love it. So yes,
we all need an Amber Davis in our life because that's how we learn. It's so good.
That's so fun. So okay, what's your most beautiful place?
Oh my goodness. We've been fortunate to travel a lot too, and I'm really thankful for that. I do love my backyard a lot, but I would probably still say Gatlinburg has been I just love the mountains. It's just so
Yeah.
pretty. And when you're up there and you get a good time where it's really good and smoky,
I love
the
it.
Smoky Mountains are just really beautiful. So
They're so pretty.
yeah, it's
Do
so
you
good.
go there once a year? Or
We
like,
used to, but it's too busy now.
yeah, it's
It's
crazy.
wild down there.
Yeah,
It's,
it is.
It's not fun anymore to me. So we're gonna try somewhere else. But I'm not gonna tell people because then they'll go there and
Right.
it'll ruin it. So
And so for people that are from different places, we're in the Nashville area.
Mhm.
So it only takes us like 3.5 hours
Yeah.
to get to Gatlinburg.
Yes.
So
But
yeah.
now it doesn't matter. Everybody travels from everywhere down there.
It's
It's very
true.
popular. It's good for Gatlinburg. I'm
Yeah.
happy for them.
That's true.
But
Yeah.
we grew up going there.
It's so pretty.
Yeah, it's so pretty.
Yeah, I do like it.
Okay, so
Okay, another fun one.
oh, this is fun. If you could time travel to the past, what time period would you go to?
Okay. There's a couple of time periods
Mhm.
because I like history.
Yeah.
So I would probably go to, I would say, I like the 1940s, but then you got the war situation going on, which is
right.
not
You
very
really got to
fun.
think about that.
So that would be tough. But I just want to go and swing dance.
Oh, that would be fun.
Yeah.
I
And
would like to
so
learn that.
if there wasn't war stuff going on and I was swing dancing,
Yeah.
that would be ideal.
Take me to that exact time period when they were swing dancing, but there wasn't a war.
Yes,
Yeah.
right. So
I like that.
that would be it.
Yeah.
If I could have that specific time period, that's actually
Yeah.
very smart.
I'm gonna say the Christianese answer.
Okay.
And I want to go like when Jesus was walking the earth.
Okay.
That's It
Yes.
sounds, if you really think about it, like, do I really want that?
Yes.
There weren't bathrooms, I don't think. Like, there's a
No
lot of things to really think about there, but I
There's
think
a
about
lot.
it often as far as like actually experiencing that and because it's
It'd be
time
pretty
travel,
awesome.
so I'm going to see it and then I'm coming back here. I'm really thankful for our modern day.
I don't know. I mean, some people like on movies, sometimes people
They
get
go-
trapped.
That's true.
So you get trapped with no toilet paper.
That would be really intense.
I don't know.
I'm not
I don't know
into
what
it.
to say. But it would be very neat to see.
It would
It
be
would.
neat to see.
That is very faith-filled,
Thank
beautiful
you. Yes,
answer.
it's-
Instead of my swing dancing with no war.
I like that too, though.
Yeah.
It's okay. Okay. This one's interesting. What would you do if you were invisible for the day?
What would I do if I was invisible for the day? I actually haven't thought of these questions, the answers to these questions.
Oh,
So
well,
what would
I
I
have no
do?
idea what I would do if I was invisible.
You don't know
for the
what
day.
you would
I don't
do.
know. I would try to think about it. I was like,
If I was invisible for the day, I would. Oh man, that is tough.
it is tough.
I'm sure people that are watching are like, I know exactly what I would
Mhm.
do. They're
Yes,
like,
if you know what you would do, give us some ideas.
Yes.
Drop it down there.
but I think I don't know. I would want to like maybe be like a fly on the wall of like go to see somebody. I know this sounds so cheesy because we're talking about content creation, but it's so true. Like to watch how like writers on a movie,
Mm-hmm.
like how they or writers on a sitcom or something like that, like how they write.
Mm-hmm.
And just be a fly on the wall and sitting there
Yeah.
watching that because a lot of those things are closed doors and they never let anybody in
Right.
to see those kind of things or to be able to I mean that's where my mind goes
Mhm.
is some place where you can be kind of the fly on the wall watching how people create something
Yes.
and see their process.
Mhm.
I think that would be really
Yeah,
fun.
I like that idea.
Yeah.
I agree with that.
That's a hard one.
It is a hard one.
Yeah.
Because I mean, I'm not trying to do anything weird.
Mm.
This could
Right.
go really weird.
Not rob a bank
Yeah.
or like
No.
right.
Nothing like that. So
or like spy on like a nemesis or something like that. It
thankfully,
can get really dark.
I don't currently have a nemesis.
Right.
But
Yeah. I don't
hopefully it
think I do
stays that
either.
way. Okay. If you're going to compete in the Olympics, what would it be for?
Oh my goodness. I'll tell you what it wouldn't be. I would not do that thing where they ski down the side of
That
that big
looks
slope
terrifying.
and then they jump off into
No, I
nothingness.
wouldn't do that either. There's a lot of Olympic sports I would not do.
Yeah, that would be the funner question.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like what I wouldn't do. I don't know what I would do. Like I would like to give a go at the synchronized swimming. I
Mhm.
think that'd be kind of fun, but I couldn't tread water that long.
Mm. So mine's a made up sport. This isn't
Okay.
a real thing in my
Okay.
head. The first thing I thought of is my cat-like reflexes.
Okay.
But it's specifically when it comes to my children.
Okay.
So if one's trying to like fall off the couch, I don't know how, but I'm just there and I can catch them.
It's like your superpower.
Truly, it's a superpower. I
Okay.
think it's a mom thing. I feel we all are like this, but
We're not.
oh,
Because
no.
I'm not. I have zero of that.
Okay, that's good to know.
I'm bad.
So it is. It's my Olympic sport. I
Yes.
feel like that's what I'm really good at.
That's
like I can just
impressive.
I can catch all the things falling, and
I don't know.
yeah, I don't know.
There's an Olympic sport organizing something. Maybe I would do that because I could not. The reflex thing, no. I mean, when we go and hike or do different
Mhm.
things, like my husband is always next to the edge because
Oh.
his reflexes are ridiculous. Like
Wow.
he's like Spider-Man.
Yes.
But we on purpose do that so nobody will die.
Right.
Because if I'm on the edge,
it's over.
not only would I not grab somebody to save them, if
Going
I'm
with them?
falling, I will probably grab them to
Oh,
take them with
yes.
me.
Yeah.
That would be the worst.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm not.
No. See,
Yeah.
I would be
Mm-mm.
I would be rescuing you.
Yeah.
Grabbing you really fast. It's just that's
Yeah. So I'd hike with you for
yeah.
sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
Now, looking for wild animals is not.
oh no.
Don't trust me in that.
I have a whole thing about wild animals.
Sure. You do.
I really do.
Amber
We'll have
has
to
the
talk.
best stories.
We will have to talk about that another time
yes.
because I have a whole thing about not wanting to be in the wild with apex predators.
Oh, okay. Yeah,
Uh-uh.
we're gonna pick. I'm bookmarking that. We're picking.
Yeah, we're
that
definitely
up.
gonna have to do
Yes.
that. Okay.
Okay. Well, what's your favorite smell?
My favorite smell. Oh my goodness. I like a lot of smells,
Mm-hmm.
like good ones.
Yeah.
Um,
I mean, of course, no bad ones. Just the good ones.
Would your favorite smell be like rotten eggs? That's my favorite smell.
That would
if
be.
I could,
That would be a strange answer.
if I could have it bottled up in a perfume,
Mm-hmm.
dead cod would be great. Right. No, but
Well,
I don't know. My favorite smell, though, I love the smell of tea.
Mm-hmm.
I love it,
Yes.
and I love the smell of. I love the smell of like when my kids were little, like their head,
Oh,
like
yeah.
the smell of their head.
Baby
Versus
smells
the
so
worst
good.
smell is their neck.
Oh, is it? I don't
Oh,
know if I've ever smelled
like
that.
when it. Well, don't
Okay, I won't do that.
because I know you have little kids.
When they're like new, like.
No, it's when they like drink a bottle or they have something to eat
yeah.
and then it gets caught in there
Ooh,
and then
all
it
the moms are
folds.
like, right
Yeah,
now.
I'm sorry, I don't mean to gross y'all out, but yes. So, but the smell of their heads are good.
That's a good smell.
I like.
I
But
actually
it's
do.
you go around
Sometimes
smelling babies.
This is weird. Sometimes I like the way my children's breath smells.
Okay.
I don't know if that's a weird thing. I feel like it might be a little weird, but it doesn't smell bad to me.
Well, y'all
It
have
smells
good
great.
hygiene, so I'm sure it's good.
So we brush their teeth really well.
Well, that's good. That's good.
That's not my favorite smell.
I love
but
it.
just to piggyback off what you were saying.
That's funny.
My favorite smell might be coffee, but only if
Oh, I
I'm
do
not
like the smell of
pregnant.
coffee.
When I'm pregnant, get coffee away from me, as far away from me as possible. It's the
Okay.
strangest thing. But other than that, most days I love the smell of coffee.
Okay.
Just a fresh pot of coffee is so good.
I do like the smell of coffee. I don't like the taste of coffee, but I do
Yeah.
like the smell of it.
Well,
It's
that's
very good.
Yeah.
It is good. That's good. So these are kind
Those
of
are
questions
good.
that,
Fun.
just fun questions to ask. But when you are creating content that, and I say you, me, all of us, when we're creating content, that it's really important that we ask the right kind of questions, because I talk to people a lot about this where they'll say that they, want to start a podcast, they want to write something, they want to be able to shoot a video, or they want to be able to start a business or start a blog or whatever it is. And I'm super excited for them because they're excited to be able to share. First of all, I believe that we are all created by God and He puts creative ideas inside of all of us.
Yes.
Every one of us are creative.
Yes.
And you hear about like people saying, well, you're a creative person. I believe every person on the planet is a creative person.
That's good.
They're just creative in a different way.
Mm-hmm.
So, but the best, pretty much not even the best, all creative people were designed by God to solve a problem or multiple problems. That's what we should be using our creativity for,
Right.
is to solve problems. So that's the first question that I tell like content creators, is what problem are you solving? What is something that you are really, really good at doing, that you have solved a problem in that area,
Mhm.
and that other people would be benefited by knowing how you solve that problem specifically. So what it the thing about that is it comes from uh, it comes from your personal life, your personal experience, what you're good at solving a problem. Like for instance, for me, that I was solving problems for people, organizationally, because I was helping, like I was put in a position where I needed to organize something, organize an office for a restaurant, or organize a team of people to open up restaurants, or a team of people to create video content for a a restaurant company, when I was in business. To do all of those things, okay, what problem are you solving? So, but those seem like big things because you're working for a company and you're doing these things and you're solving their problems. But when you're going to write something or you're going to produce something, just come from a personal place of, okay, how did I solve this problem for my own personal life? How have I helped other people solve this problem? And then you know that you have a bigger audience to be able to share that with. So it's really, if you really go all small, so the A is ask the right questions for all, ask the right questions. And one of the biggest questions that you can answer is, how do, uh, what kind of problem can I solve for somebody? And you really, by knowing that the problem that you're solving, that helps give you clarity in what you're doing. And I think about you. I think about, you are an amazing mom and you have great balance. And we were just talking about this,
Yes.
and I think we should talk about this like on another podcast too, about how, we'll see a podcast, or we'll see, not necessarily a podcast, but a YouTube video, and it'll be about somebody's house that's pristine, or their office is pristine, or their life is just looks like a museum.
Right.
And they can't live in that space. And so you share a lot of encouragement to other moms about how it's okay to live messy.
Yeah.
And to be able to do that. So you're solving a problem by poking a hole in this perfection bubble, and you're solving the problem of perfectionism for moms.
Yeah.
And I think about authors, and we were talking about this earlier, but about how these authors, so I wrote down some names of some different people, famous people that you may know, that solve problems and it may seem weird, but they're content creators who are solving a problem. So I think about the authors Stan Lee and Dr. Seuss. And we talked about Stan Lee because when I mentioned Stan Lee, you were like,
I was like, who is that?
Who's that? He sounds like a real great guy. And I don't sit around and read a lot of Stan Lee, but for people that are watching or listening, that Stan Lee is the author of the Marvel comics. Right? He's the one that came up with Spider-Man. And you might think, well, when I was thinking about people that solve problems and they're content creators, well, what kind of problem does Stan Lee solve?
Right.
Or Dr. Seuss solve? And how did they become so popular in their genre of, Dr. Seuss, here he is, writing children's books, and Stan Lee's writing books for teenagers, or comics for teenagers. And when I was thinking there, I was like, they of course solved a problem. And the problem that they solved was these teenagers and these kids, they weren't able to read long form. Right. They weren't able to sit down and read a novel, or their attention span wasn't so that those things were capturing their attention. So the problem that they solved for them is to be able to capture these kids' attention in a creative way, to be able to share stories in a written form.
Right. That's so true.
And it's so beautiful.
Yeah.
And it seems like, you just think, oh, wow, they just had this great idea to, make Spider-Man, or to make, Cat in the Hat, or whatever it was, but they're really solving a problem. And filmmaker Mel Gibson is another one who I thought of, because we watched an interview a while back. My husband really likes his directing style. And there was an interview that he said that he does 3 things he's creating content. And in his 3 things that he does solving this problem is that his movies, all of his movies, he strives to have them do these three things: to entertain, to inspire, and to educate.
Wow.
So if they can do all three of those things at the same time, he feels like he has created the best content for his audience.
Wow.
And so it's just interesting because
Mhm.
he's a filmmaker and he's making entertaining stuff, but it's educational and inspiring.
Right.
You know, you think about The Passion of the Christ. I
Mm-hmm.
mean, it's entertaining for sure because it's beautifully done.
Right. Yes.
I mean, amazing. But educational, of course, you're
Mhm.
educating people, especially people that don't know Christ, of what he went through. And then inspirational, obviously.
Right.
Is inspirational. So it's just amazing. But all of his, movies, he really tries to do that. I thought that was interesting. And then I thought about, as a chef, Julia Child.
Oh, yes.
So you like Julia Child?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
She's created like a whole vibe. It's not just
Yeah.
even cooking anymore. It's like a whole, people like aspire to just like their whole lives are
Right.
based around just how she cooks. It's amazing.
She's amazing.
Mm-hmm.
And I think with her, what was so interesting about her is that she solved the problem of when she wrote The Joy of Cooking way back, her first book that she wrote, is that and I'm not a Julia Child expert, but I just know this from just reading up and seeing things on her, but she wanted to be able to take the French cuisine experience and bring it into the everyday domestic home.
Mm-hmm.
She wanted women to be able to make these amazing French cuisine dishes and take these complicated, what they thought they could only do if they were a chef, and bring it into like a little home. And so she solved the problem. She took complicated thing and made it simple. And that's a big thing with solving problems is, can you take a complicated thing and can you make it simple?
Right.
And if you can do that, then you're like Julia Child. I mean, that's huge.
Yeah.
You can reach so many people, are so inundated with the complicated. And then the other person, the other group that I think, do you know the Wiggles?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. Did you ever watch them?
No, but somehow my daughter just, we've never watched it, but somehow she got onto the music. And so that's like a daily request is to play the Wiggles.
Right. Okay. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Well, we love the Wiggles.
Yeah.
And we don't listen to them anymore or watch them anymore. But when my daughter, who's 20 at this time that this is airing, when she was little, we loved the Wiggles. And we would listen to, there was this one, it was, and nothing wrong with Dora the Explorer.
Yeah, sure.
Whatever. But she liked Dora the Explorer. And we would take 7-hour road trips to go see family. And we had this little DVD player, and it was the map. It's the map. It's the map. It's the map. I don't know who came up with that song.
Yeah.
It was like,
we don't watch that one either.
it drove us crazy. So we're just like, oh my goodness, we want something that she will enjoy, but we can enjoy it too.
Yes.
And that's the problem that the Wiggles solved.
Yeah.
Is that they bridged this gap because they were a rock band. Like several of their members were in a rock band.
Yes.
And they decided to do the Wiggles and because they wanted to be able to create content that not only that the kid would enjoy, but the parents would enjoy too. And that was the problem that they solved.
Yes.
And that's why they exploded.
Right.
You know?
I think every parent of young children right now would agree that Bluey has done that for our generation.
Okay.
Like, if we sit down and watch Bluey, I am sucked in.
That's
because it's
funny.
so much for the parents as it is for the kids. It's so good. It was huge problem solver.
Right.
Because we enjoy it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love that. I have seen an episode of that. And it's
so
really
cute.
funny.
Yeah.
It's clever. But it is a problem.
It is,
that you can solve. So really, so the first part of the A for all, small productivity, is when you're dealing with writing, you're dealing with creating content, you want to be able to ask the right questions. One of the biggest questions is, what problem can I solve? And then the L part, I call it list building. And list building is where you just got to get everything out of your brain out. If you are thinking, okay, what kind of problem can I solve? And then I just want you to take a sheet of paper and get a sheet of paper and just start dumping out all the problems that you think you can solve out onto a piece of paper.
Right.
And just start brainstorming. I call it brain dumping because you're just trying to get it out of here.
Yes.
And I love, there's a quote, I always like botch the quote, but that Albert Einstein said, paper is to write things down that we need to remember. Our brains are used to think. And Albert Einstein's a genius. And this is one of my favorite quotes But I'll say it again, paper is to write things down that we need to remember, and our brains are used to think.
That's good.
So we need to free up our brains.
Yeah, that's true.
We need to get it out on paper. And if that means to write it down on a sheet of paper or use a notes app, I love using my notes app. When I'm out and about, I have all the podcast stuff that I write.
Yeah.
Ideas for podcasts, and I'm just like typing them up.
Yeah, that's what I use too, is the notes app. Because especially now, most of the time we have our phone with us. We don't have a piece of paper.
Yes. I love it. Yeah, I love the notes app. That's one of my favorite things to do. But you just got to get it out. You got to start building that list of, getting all of that information out. And then when you decide, okay, this is a problem I'm going to solve, like the problem that I solve for All Small Productivity is to be able to help content creators to be able to get the ideas that they have, because they're like, I hear so much from content creators. And I say content creators in this sense that they may not have created anything yet.
Right.
But they're already burning with a desire and have that passion to, I want to create a podcast. I want to do this. I want to create, I want to write a book. I want to write a blog. I want to, whatever it is, make a film, whatever it is. But I've got so many ideas that I just don't know where to start.
Right.
And the first place that you start is once you figure out what kind of problem that you want to solve, then you start just dumping ideas on a list, notes app, paper, just get them out of your head. Just time yourself. Set a 30-minute timer and just sit down on your porch or sit down in your car or sit down somewhere or stand if you want to stand. But just set a timer and just start writing things down and getting that out, because that's going to help free up your mind. Our brains are designed to be able to think. And when we have all those ideas in our head, it's like clutter.
Right.
So it's the same kind of clutter that you have. Like when I cleaned out my office area to shoot this podcast, you're cleaning out the clutter. It's refreshing when the clutter's cleaned out, just like it's refreshing to your brain when you get those ideas out.
Right.
Because then God can start downloading more ideas to you, or like thoughts or excitement, or you can start freeing your brain up to do what it was designed to do and start thinking and snapping and moving. And it's so, so important. So once you know what problem you're solving, and once you can start writing down those things, the third thing to do is the other L. So ALL, so the all, is to be able to learn to do little. And this is what All Small is all about, is learning to do little. You've got to be able to start figuring out, okay, I've got all these things to do and it seems so big, but let's just go all small and start narrowing down. Like if you are trying to, whatever the content that you're going to create, just start creating the content. So you know the problem that you're going to solve. You've started dumping your brain on ideas for how to do that. Circle 2 or 3 ideas and then set aside time on your schedule to start running with those ideas.
Right.
And some people, I just remember years ago when I was writing my book, and I had a baby who I was nursing at the time, and then had a 5-year-old. And I was like, I'm going to write a book. I don't know how I'm going to do this. But we just had daddy kid night on Thursday night. I had 4 hours of uninterrupted time that I could write. And I had somebody tell me, that was like, well, how do you write in 4 hours? How do you, don't you need inspiration and all of the things? I'm like, well, if I know that I have that amount of time to get this done, then I need to get in there and just do something.
Yeah.
Get the train moving. I love Joyce Meyer. She said, God's not going to move a parked car. So you've got to get the ball rolling.
Right.
So learn to do little. I know somebody that wrote several books in mall food courts while his wife was shopping.
Wow.
Because that was the time that he had, and his wife wanted to shop. She could shop for like 4 hours. So he would just go to the mall and let her shop, and he would sit in the food court. And he wrote multiple books this way.
Wow.
And it's because you learn to do little. Just do things little. We're thinking too big. Just get started. It's like this podcast. It's like, okay, let's just jump in. Let's get started. And that doesn't mean that you don't organize yourself, or that you don't do it with excellence
Mm-hmm.
and have things laid out. But at the same time, you really just need to get started.
Right.
So it's so important. So I just wanted to be able to share today about the content creation, content design, how to be able to produce content and to be able to get the ball rolling. And it's not that complicated. You can keep it simple. Go all small for big productivity. Ask the right questions. And then you need to be able to not only ask those questions, but start brain dumping, list building. Make sure you're making a list of all the things like ideas that start coming, and then start circling those, just a couple, like maybe 2 or 3 ideas, and then learn to do little. Go all small for big productivity so that you can be able to start moving and getting these ideas out into this world. So thank you for joining us today on the All Small Productivity Podcast. And remember to go to amberndavis.com and get my free teaching on the best way to plan your week. That's amberndavis.com. Get ready, everybody. We're going to go all small for big productivity. See you later. All Small Productivity Podcast is brought to you by myself, Amber N. Davis, using the podcasting platform Buzzsprout, which I highly recommend. Recording and editing is done by my husband's company, Dad Chavis Productions. Thank you so much for joining us today. And remember to go all small for big productivity. We'll see you next week.